Thank you for this opportunity to report on the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. SDGs were developed by the United Nations in 2015 and are blueprinted in agendas worldwide to end poverty, improve education, reduce inequality, and encourage economic growth, all while protecting the planet and combating the effects of climate change. Today, you will be hearing about our research on the global organisation, L'Oréal Group. As at December 31st, 2021, L'Oréal Group engaged 85,000 employees across 35 global brands with a presence in over 150 countries worldwide. L'Oréal filed 517 patents in 2021 alone, with a research and innovation expense report of 1 billion euros for the year. Sales grew by 16.1% from 2020 to 32 billion euros, resulting in a 6 billion euro operating profit, with 2.3 billion euros in dividends distributed to shareholders in 2021. L'Oréal's business strategy is focused in globalization, the globalization of its brands with a detailed understanding and respect for local differences. This understanding and respect is proven on many accounts with regards to the UN's SDGs. However, the purpose of this report and the goals of climate action and gender equality will be discussed.
Climate change is at the forefront of global issues in recent years, and based on our research, climate change can be significantly combated through a key focus on sustainability. It is important to note that L'Oréal amasses sales exceeding $30 billion yearly, which accrue significant operating costs and heavy reliance on harmful fossil fuels to power production factories and warehouses. Greenhouse gas emissions are proven to be at the core of climate change, largely responsible for global temperature increases and air pollution. It is essential to have substantial emission reduction strategies associated with operations and productions at the forefront of climate action plans. These strategies can be devised based on results from assessments across end-to-end operations to identify target areas to implement change. Examples can include replicating current technologies with low carbon alternatives and utilizing renewable energy sources such as solar energy. A second major contributor to the rise in carbon dioxide levels is deforestation due to the reduced number of trees converting carbon dioxide back to oxygen. To avoid continuing deforestation, companies can implement packaging sourced from recycled materials or avoiding one-use packaging by using biodegradable materials. Lastly, companies and their supply chain operations should guarantee climate resilience by deploying strategies to mitigate the impacts felt by climate change. Significant weather events related to the impacts of climate change, such as disastrous flooding from torrential rain, are being felt on a global scale. Companies can distribute these funds to communities to support businesses and local families with financial aid through these times to rebuild and rehabilitate. With examples of how companies can report to SDGs in mind, we will now look at what L'Oréal specifically reports and publishes. A major sustainability issue that is directly reported in the United Nations Global Compact's Communication on Progress are the efforts taken in response to reducing deforestation. It outlines commitments to a target of zero deforestation and the importance of carrying out replanting projects. To further support deforestation reporting, the 2020 Universal Registration Document includes Clause 4.3, associating the group suppliers in the CDP Forest Disclosure Project. This program is centered around supply chain, which prompted L'Oréal to encourage its 85 main suppliers of paper, palm oil, and soya to also take part in the CDP supply chain efforts. L'Oréal itself reports participating in CDP forest projects since 2012. L'Oréal also published a report titled L'Oréal for the Future, Our Sustainability Commitments for 2030, which was developed by 7 internal expert panels in conjunction with outside partners and civil society. The report is based on 3 pillars which help guide the transformation in response to social and environmental needs: transforming ourselves, empowering our business ecosystem, and contributing to solving the challenges of the world. More specifically, the document includes an in-depth transformation strategy to reduce the environmental impacts across the entire chain by reinventing the way products are designed with sustainability as a fundamental requirement. As part of the strategy, 4 specific goals are outlined to be achieved by 2030 relating to key areas of climate, water, biodiversity, and resource. It is safe to say and be confident in L'Oréal's strong awareness of how their productions are contributing to climate change, and furthermore, have specifically reported what proactive strategies have been implemented to combat this.
L'Oréal for the Future is not only a commitment to achieving carbon neutrality by 2030 in all aspects of its operations, from collecting raw materials to the disposal of its products after use, but it's also a commitment to reporting annually its own progress and the progress of all participating business partners and suppliers. Whether they've improved or worsened, they will continue to report, remaining as transparent as possible. However, there is an oversight in their transparency. For all their encouragement to their suppliers to participate in their zero deforestation commitment, it has only resulted in 49 out of 85 suppliers participating in the CDP's supply chain's 3rd year, which makes up less than 50% of their supply expenditure. This leaves a huge gap in their reporting that needs to be rectified if they wish to see their 2030 goals achieved. Such few discrepancies, however, should not overlook their achievements. They are the only company out of almost 10,000 to receive a AAA ranking by the CDP, which covers forests, climate change, and water security. They have achieved a world first in technology by collaborating with LanzaTech and Total to create a plastic from captured industrial emissions, and they have managed to reduce their carbon emissions by 81%, effectively smashing their previous goal of 60%. These achievements will surely continue as they work toward fulfilling their climate action commitments.
Goal 5 of the SDGs, which focuses on gender equality, encompasses many aspects of achieving equality and empowering all women and girls. The most prominent targets our group has engaged with includes ending all forms of discrimination, historically a significant issue in workplaces across all industries, but particularly in corporate environments as women were first introduced to menial roles and subject to harassment and bullying without any recourse. The elimination of all forms of violence is most relevant in the developing nations where manufacturing and sourcing of materials might take place, and where women's rights may not meet the standard expected in first world nations. The recognition of unpaid domestic work, which includes supporting the demands of motherhood and parental responsibilities for employees, is an evolving gender imbalance issue. And finally, equal access to leadership and role opportunities being available regardless of gender or race. L'Oréal's commitment to equal participation in executive and managerial roles is exemplified in the UNGC Communication on Progress 2020, where the company reported female participation rates of 58% on the board of directors and 59% of international brand managers. As of the 1st of May 2021, equal 50-50% gender representation was achieved on the board of directors. The L'Oréal Share and Care social program, initiated in 2013, defines the company's commitments to supporting social protection, healthcare, work-life balance, and the working environment for their employees. This program outlines the key entitlements for employees with regards to parental leave and the return to work, also detailed in the L'Oréal 2021 Universal Registration document. This includes at least 14 weeks maternity leave fully paid, at least 6 weeks paternity leave fully paid, a hybrid working policy with flexible working arrangements upon return to work, and pay increases during the maternity and paternity leave are assured as if the concerned employees were still at work. L'Oréal report on strict anti-sexual harassment policies on their sites, as well as those of their suppliers and subcontractors. Their Speak Up policy offers stakeholders an avenue to address concerns with regards to human rights issues, importantly, sexual harassment and inappropriate behavior in the workplace. Events are dealt with under strict disciplinary actions, including reporting to relevant authorities.
We have established through our research that L'Oréal is admirable in their transparency and they report on many SDGs. However, we have also found some areas to be lacking in their official reporting. We would like to bring your attention first to the divergences, which represent potential gaps to consider in future reporting requirements. There's a lack of reporting and transparency on actions relating to the company's support of or procedures put in place for the integration of employees re-entering the workplace from parental leave. For example, implementation of a return to work plan. This follows on to lack of knowledge surrounding external support services offered for those same employees in the way of workplace childcare services or childcare subsidies, along with assistance in home management by way of domestic service assistance. L'Oréal present a strong front in the empowerment of women to enter the world of technology and sciences in their ranks. However, there appeared to be a lack of reporting on communication as to the effectiveness and outcome of these strategies, the extent of their progress, or comment on the barriers they endeavour to overcome to ensure the program's success. Mentions of sexual harassment come under separate headings that are not effectively linked to sexual harassment in the workplace, instead being reported under supplier monitoring and other established or emerging best practices. L'Oréal developed the L'Oréal Paris Family Stand Up Street Harassment to stand up against street harassment, to target sexual harassment against women, and are a member of external programs, yet make no mention of implementing in their own strategy to the work environment, nor do they report on their own efforts to combat such behaviour. This is also despite funding their own survey, which found 78% of women have experienced sexual harassment in the workplace. In a shift of direction, L'Oréal could be considered leaders in the equal representation of men and women worldwide through all employment tiers, thanks to their proactive approach and success that can be measured by diversity in their own ranks. L'Oréal were the first company to have joined the 1 in 3 Women, which is a network that they joined in November 2018. The first European network of companies committed to fighting violence against women in the private sphere. L'Oréal have also joined with NGO France to ratify a convention to serve as the leading legal protection for workers worldwide when it comes to gender-based violence and sexual harassment. Finally, L'Oréal offered generous paid leave and flexibility for new parents, as we have highlighted earlier in our presentation.
Our research has identified that L'Oréal demonstrate remarkable transparency in their reporting. Annual reports and updates on their commitments are readily available on their website. They also report to several other NGO and NFP organizations to remain accountable to the targets they've set. L'Oréal consistently receive distinctions for their commitment to ethical and sustainable goals. The United Nations have recognized L'Oréal as a Global Compact lead company for the 7th consecutive year for its ongoing commitment to sustainable development. In the first year since setting the L'Oréal for the Future sustainability commitments for 2030, the company has already made considerable progress towards all the set targets, including having reached 94% of their promise that by 2030, 100% of bio-based or natural ingredients in their formulas will be traceable and will come from sustainable sources. This is one of the several examples where the company has demonstrated genuine and authentic efforts toward the pursuit of their goals. The successful completion of the CHP project enabled the Suzhou production plant to become carbon neutral in June 2019, marking L'Oréal China subsidiary as the first market to achieve carbon neutrality across all operational sites, operation plants, distribution centers, research and innovation centers, and offices. L'Oréal has launched numerous campaigns to encourage gender equality, including the This Is For Men campaign launched in April 2019, calling on men to actively engage in the support and empowerment of women in leadership and executive roles. The proof of their success can be validated by their own board of directors and executive committee, which saw an increase in female representation from 20 to 21. The You Don't Need to Wear Makeup to Make It at L'Oréal campaign, launched in 2017, was designed to attract and encourage male participation in what might otherwise appear to be a female-dominated industry. Simply put, while it is easy to author a report or market a campaign, L'Oréal has actively made their claims reality.
External audits, assessments, and recognitions are foolproof resources to assist in identifying whether a company is actively pursuing the goals they claim to be targeting in relation to the UN's SDGs. The Bloomberg Gender Equality Index is an example of a global, unbiased external audit of the company's efforts toward achieving gender equality, which is assessed through a rigorous gender reporting framework. A credible source for evaluating a company's progress with respect to climate action is the CDP Global Rating. CDP is a not-for-profit charity that runs a global disclosure system for investors, companies, cities, states, and regions to manage their environmental impacts. Consistent high scoring on this platform would be a considerable indication of a company's true and demonstrated progress in this area of focus.